How's it going, everybody? It's Thursday, November 4th. We're going to start the show in just a few minutes. It's all about bunkie building tonight. If you're here, comment where you're tuning in from. What's your favorite place in Canada? I'll tell mine in just a few seconds. You be my soap and I'll be your bubble. You give me love and I'll give you double. I can fly when I'm away. I'll be your eggs if you'll be my bacon. You make the dough if I'll do the baking. I can fly when I'm with you. Woo! I've spent so much time just waiting for love. I just don't wanna wait with you. You are the girl that I've been dreaming of. Pinch me, baby, 'cause I need to know it's true. Hey! Will you be my peas and I'll be your carrots? I'll buy you a ring if you promise to wear it. I can fly when I'm with. I'll be your prince if you'll be my princess. Pass you a note and we'll hold hands at recess. I can fly when I'm with you. Woo! I've spent so much time just waiting for love. I just don't wanna wait with you. You are the girl that I've been dreaming of. Pinch me, baby, 'cause I need to know it's true. Oh! Be my peas and I'll be your carrots. I'll buy you a ring if you promise to wear it. I can fly, oh, and I can fly, oh, and I can fly when I'm with you. All right, welcome everyone. If you're just tuning in, we are about to start our live stream. Where are you tuning in from? And what is your favorite place in Canada to visit? Personally, I'm a Tobermory fan. That's a little place in Ontario. We've got this amazing cool marina, and it's just it's fantastic. But BC is very nice. I've been there once. I've been all the way out to the East Coast, and I've actually missed the prairies. I've never actually been to Saskatchewan or Alberta, or Manitoba. Very sad detail about my life, but I'd like to go there one day. Our bunkies have traveled there, but I've never personally made it. So if you can comment below where you're tuning in from and what's your favorite place to visit. We're going to start this craziness in just about 2 seconds. We'll see you then. Hi, I'm David Fraser, founder of Bunkie Life. We're in the building industry, but what we're famous for are small log cabins called bunkies that can be easily built in a weekend without a permit or a second mortgage. Ultimately, we help our clients create extra space for more meaningful connection. Yes, we help our clients get a cool bunkie. But if you think it's just about the bunkie, you've already missed the point. Really what this is about is creating the space and time for more meaningful connection, and having a bunkie is just part of that journey. It's not just about the space, it's about what happens in the space, how it enables more connection. It allows you to spend that quality time with family and friends. It allows you to be there for each other in both senses of the phrase. We are the market leaders in educational videos and content, and we also provide an easy to build or built for you bunkie kit that enables people to have more space to connect. The bunkie is often the difference between that friend or family member coming or not, being there for each other or not. The reason we do this is because we believe family comes first, and when it comes to being there for each other, there are no do-overs. That's one of the reasons we've decided to partner with Ronald McDonald House Charities of Canada in their goal of keeping families close. Because ultimately, we want to bring about a world where families everywhere have a place to unite, unwind, and unplug. I get up every morning excited to help families create extra space for meaningful connection. Thanks for listening, and can't wait to hear from you. All right, guys. Well, it's going to be a pretty straightforward chat tonight. First of all, we'll do introductions and welcoming everybody in. So everyone's commenting where you're tuning in from and also what your favorite place to visit is. For me, it's Tobermory, although there's a lot of close seconds, just given how beautiful Canada is. I'm going to read a few comments. So Keith King, first person in on the contest, he's from Goderich, Ontario. And Anita says, tuning in from Scarborough, Halliburton, and Banff. Banff are the favorites. Two awesome spots. We have somebody tuning in from Saskatoon. Very cool. And the Northern Lakes of Saskatchewan. Never been, but I heard they're lovely as well. Someone from, I don't know how to say this right, Qualicum Beach in Vancouver Island, BC. That is cool. When are we coming here? I've never been on the island. I've been to Vancouver, but not Vancouver Island. So, we got another Nanaimo person. That's cool. And Tofino is really nice from what I hear. Some people get in trouble for going there. We got people from St. Catharines, St. Thomas. Very cool. Welcome, Margaret. And St. Thomas. A lot of people from St. Thomas. That is cool. Somebody from Port Perry on Lake Scugog. I used to play at D&D's Lakeside in the docks there. I used to play. Love to visit Quebec City. Quebec City is pretty cool. Somebody tuning in from Cape Breton. That's cool. We got a full coast to coast. We got all the way from Nanaimo to Cape Breton. That is cool. I wonder if we have any. Do we have any Newfies on here? We got somebody from Unity, Saskatchewan. David's favorite place is Layman's Landing. That is really, really cool. Tuning in from Salmon Beach, New Brunswick, and love to visit Cape Breton. Yes, that is cool. Halifax is an awesome spot. Have you been to Tofino? I have not been to Tofino. Bayfield, Ontario, home of the Black Dog. Tara, is the Black Dog still open? I played a gig there in Bayfield one time. Okay, we got someone from Sudbury. Welcome, Carol. Perry Sound, also cool. Welcome, Margie. I might have to... Oh, there's a lot of comments here. I might not get to the bottom of these. If I miss anybody... Oh, we have a neighbor from Acton. Very cool. BC is Sandy's favorite place. Very cool. Wow, there's a lot of comments. So, here's someone saying, Ronald McDonald House Charities, that's RMHC, housed our friends during their daughter's surgery. They are the best. Yes, very, very worthwhile cause. And so in upcoming live streams, we'll talk a little bit about why we do that and kind of our family story. And in fact, while we're there, before I get into that, I'll show you kind of the upcoming live stream. So tonight we're working on Bunkie Building 101, right? It's the 4th. And then on Sunday, I'll do one how to make cash with your bunkie. So this is kind of the experience that some of our clients have had and I've had renting bunkies out and how that's worked out. And hopefully we'll get someone to actually come and answer questions from our client base. And then next week, Tuesday, is completing the bunkie picture. Thursday is why Bunkie Life helps the world. I'll go into the Ronald McDonald story and why we do what we do. And then on Sunday is when we announce the winner. So I don't want to make it any surprise. We basically, as soon as the contest closes, we have a week-long sale, the Amazing Autumn Sale, which is on until November 21st. And then we wrap the year up, basically. So that's kind of the deal. And I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments. But there's, Dresden, Ontario. Barb Suter from Dresden. That's cool. I used to play hockey in Dresden. I grew up in Petrolia, Ontario, for anybody out there. That's a very small hick town where people occasionally date their cousins, near Sarnia. Mark says, visited your bunkie display. Cool. That's cool. All right. So I think we got a Newfoundler here. A Newfie. Tracy Noseworthy. Welcome. That's cool. So we are legitimately coast to coast on this random Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is really fun. So Dave Campbell. My son worked at Black Dog. Okay, cool. Yeah, is it still open? If anyone commented the Black Dog is still open, I'd love to hear. I'm not sure if it is. Teresa Bradford says, hey, Dave, Teresa and Barry from Marmora. We came to visit you this summer to see your bunkies. Awesome, Teresa. Good to see you. Okay. Let us go to the presentation. So this is all about how to build a bunkie. So for those of you who don't know, a bunkie is a small log cabin that generally
is something that's small enough that you can build it and not need a permit in most areas. So we're talking like a small, basically super bedroom. And yeah, I'll go into how to build, and I'll also explain what they're all about at the same time. Tina says, I stayed in your bunkies on Peely Island for an artist residency, one of my favorite places. Yes, that's the Peely Island. We have a bunch of bunkies on there that we kind of help donate to the cause there. And really, really cool thing they got going on in Peely Island. Okay, let's do this. Let's go. I'm going to do my presentation about how to build the bunkie. So let's do this. I'm going to go pull it up and let's have at her. Okay, so this is about bunkie building 101. So before we begin, what tools do you need to do this? A lot of people think, oh, I'm not a professional. Do I need to hire a professional to build a bunkie? And in a lot of cases, I would say no. Here's all you need to build a bunkie. You need measuring tape, a hammer, sledgehammer. In fact, I got a whole video on it. I'll play it for you quick. All right, next I'd like to talk about the tools that you need to finish a bunkie job. Now, first thing you want is a measuring tape. That is especially going to be handy when you get started. So the old classic measuring tape, just to get square, get everything measured. I mean, the boards come pre-cut and pre-measured for you, but a measuring tape is nice to get everything square when you first start. So measuring tape. Secondly, you'll definitely need a hammer. This is just the standard hammer. That'll come in handy if you're going to be nailing anything, but also just for pounding the blocks down. A bigger sledgehammer, something like this, it's a little bit heavier, is really nice to hammer the logs down even more effectively. Another thing you're definitely going to need is a level. The longer the better. This is my super level that I bring to all my job sites. Super level. It's like taller than me. Well, almost taller than me. And that's great. If you don't have something that big, that's okay. You can get by with something a little more standard like this. And that'll help get your foundation all level. So when the bunkie arrives, it's ready to go. And there's a whole video I did on the actual foundation. So check that out too. All right. Another thing you're going to want to have is a drill. This is my DeWalt cordless battery powered drill. Have an extra battery if you have one of those. And if you decide to screw most of your stuff, like for example, the roof boards or whatever, then a drill is really nice to have. And some people even screw their roof and their floorboards together, and you can use a drill like this as well. If you're more of an advanced user, what I do at my build sites is I actually bring a small compressor and a nail gun, such as this. It's just boom, 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 and you can install your floorboards and your deck boards really quickly. It's a fast way to do it. But you can also hammer it with just your classic hammer. It just might take a little longer. If you have lots of labor, that's not the end of the world. So your classic hammer and a few nails will also put the deck boards in, so you don't really need the advanced tools. Now, one more thing that you can never have enough of is other people to help you. For sure, you need at least one buddy. It's not a one-man job; it's a two-person job. But the other thing you definitely need a lot of, if you could, is these little step ladders, just to get up here, and get to a bunkie. I'm not actually going to bunkie. I'm in another build site, but even a small step ladder such as this right here will come in handy. Just 3 steps, just to get higher, because as the logs get higher, you're gonna not be able to reach it and get leverage. So a bunch of ladders like this, or even taller, are the best. Ideally, if you can have a ladder on all 4 corners, if you can have 4 ladders, knock on some neighbors' doors, meet your neighbors, borrow their ladders, return them. That's a great way to get the bunkie life experience going. So lots of ladders and all those other tools. You might need a saw. Let me just show you a saw. You don't need to cut the boards, but sometimes when you're doing the trim, this is nice to have, a small saw, something like that, just to finish off the trim. But that's kind of, a very small, you only need this guy for like a few cuts. And that's about it. So these are tools you may already have or could borrow from the father-in-law in your life. And that's pretty much all you need to build the bunkie. And if you really hustle, you could probably get it up in 1 or 2 days. If you have enough help and you have enough ladders. You can never have enough ladders. Hope that's helpful. David for Bunkie Life, signing off. All right, so number one question I'd say we have is what do we need for a foundation? And there's really multiple ways to do your foundation. So we're going to talk about different options you have and
the different costs and kind of challenges that are associated with said foundation. So first thing everyone thinks about is, do I need a concrete pad? Now, in some cases, a concrete pad is probably the best idea, but it does cost a lot. It's really labor intensive. And if you're kind of screwing the bunkie into a concrete pad, it's really tricky to move it after the fact. So that's concrete pad. The other is sonotubes, which we'll explain about in a minute. And then the third is like what most people can get away with and choose to do, which is kind of inexpensive. Lay down some gravel, crushed gravel, as you can see in this photo here, then put blocks or some type of a deck block or whatever, and then put wood down. So those are the main three. And then also something that's been coming into our attention more recently is something called screw piles, which I'll explain. So let's get into the first step, which is, sonotubes. So sonotubes, you can see these those little circles there that the beam from the loft is coming down onto, that little concrete part. That's a sonotube. And basically what that is you dig a hole in the ground about 4 feet down below the frost line in your area, and then you pour concrete into these tubes, and then you let it dry, and then you get these basically, big hunk of circular concrete in the ground, and you might have that in about 12 places. So for a bunkie like this is the one actually that we're giving away, or an older version of the 2019, I should say. And you might have like 12 sonotubes down, and you can see there's also sonotubes that they've put down for their posts. So the upsides of that is it's very, very solid, very unlikely to shift because it's underneath the frost line. Okay, and if you have a situation like a lot of you folks do in Muskoka or in different areas on the Canadian Shield, you can actually drill into that shield and throw a bit of rebar in there and concrete the whole thing together. So now it's tied into the rock, which is really solid. Now the downside is a lot of digging. It can be labor intensive, but less labor intensive than the concrete pad, I think. So a concrete pad, very solid, unlikely to shift. The downside is actually you can have concrete pads still crack, and they are labor intensive, and they take a day or more because you have to wait for them to dry, and they're tougher to attach into. So I would recommend only in specific circumstances. If you've got that guy that just like needs a concrete pad mentally, you can give into his needs, or if you have a situation where it calls for that. And then let's look at the next thing, which is screw piles. So I don't know much about screw piles. What I do know, I will explain from my non-experience. So basically, usually they require machinery, but sometimes you can do it manually with a large lever. And basically, you're screwing a piece of metal into the ground, and you get below the frost line, like almost like a picture of a screw going into the earth. And so they're 4 feet below, and they can really kind of are the best of both worlds because you don't need a ton of digging if you have the right machinery or you have the right lever. You can just kind of jackhammer into the ground, and then you can adjust the height of it using different techniques. There's different kinds and brands of screw piles, but that's the idea. And a lot of clients have used it this year, and everyone's been pretty pumped about them. I haven't used them personally, so I can't really say much more about that. But in a situation where you've got soil you can dig down into and you're not going to hit rock, it's really easy to do. In a situation where you have rock, you're going to probably need to bring in the heavy equipment, like shown in this photo, because you need something that's going to drill through the rock, which is tricky. So let's, let us talk about the usual. I'd say 90% of our clients will go this way. Okay, so we're talking about foundation, which is gravel. You put a bunch of gravel down, you put some type of a block, whether that's a deck block or just a big fat concrete like patio stone, that'll work well. And then you build with pressure treated wood on top of that. So the upsides of that, easy, cheap, fast. Downside is you're not under the frost line. So you could have situations where the ground heaves. Now I've built pretty much all the bunkies at my place at Bunkie HQ using this method. I'm on a hill with good drainage. So there's not water sitting that's freezing and unfreezing every year and going up and down every year. And none of my bunkies have moved or shifted in any way. However, if you have an area that's going to be freezing and unfreezing, I would probably recommend sonotubes would be my first recommendation. So that's kind of an overview of, and so you can see here, like they built kind of basically a little mini deck. This one here is probably a little bit overkill. The foundation plans we include with every kit are a little simpler, but you can go hardcore like this if you want. And this is a relatively quick and easy way to do it. You'll notice in most videos, there'd be a version of us building a foundation similar to this. So I'm going to throw a few comments here while we're chatting about it. So some people are saying the cost for renting a drill machine like that is about $350. Okay, that's good to know, Francis. I appreciate the input. So, that drilling machine for the screw piles, I believe, is what he's referring to. For $350, is that worth it? I mean, you can definitely save a lot of time. No digging, just screw it in. But the screw piles themselves cost money too. So, there's kind of no way around it. The foundation is going to cost a little bit of money, but you want to do it right. And then someone else says, I heard screw piles work well if you have changes in elevation. And I would think that's true because you can screw them and adjust them to the right height you need and level everything off that way. Okay, cool. So that's kind of the idea. Someone asked, will you be at the Cottage Life show? No, we will not be there. We're doing a contest instead. Oh, here we go. Margaret says, we use sonotubes, but my husband and my brother-in-law are both carpenters, so that helps a lot. Yes. Whatever technique you're using, you need someone that can kind of make sure it's level. The foundation is the most important part. If your foundation's level, everything follows through that and is better. So, as I said, congratulations. If you've done your foundation, you're done at least 40% of the work. Now, what happens after you get your foundation? Let's go into starting your build. Here we've got some gentlemen. As you can see, they've got blocks down on the ground. They probably should have used some gravel, but we'll forgive them. And they're taking the diagonal of the four corners. So if that diagonal is the same, you've got a perfect square. So if they're going to take that measurement there, they're going to write it down or remember it, and then they're going to do the opposite diagonal. And if those two measurements line up, you have a perfect square. Thank you, Mr. Pythagoras. And so basically what you'll do is you'll get it nice and square, and then you screw your boards down there, your logs that come with your kit, down to the foundation piece there. And that's all you got to do to get started. Next, you're going to pound down your logs. This is where the Bunkie Life bunkies are so fun and so easy to build with. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So everything's pre-cut, and you're just going to bang the board on top of the next board. Once you've got the foundation all level and square, it can really, really fly from here on. So there's blocks they're putting on top of the actual ones that are pounding down to kind of lessen the impact to make sure there's no damage, and then just pound. And honestly, this part of the build you can fly. You can get this done in a few hours and just go right to the top. Especially if you've got that many hands. The great thing about Bunkie Life bunkies as well is that you can't build them wrong. You can't put a board in upside down and it won't fit if it doesn't go in the right spot. So it leaves a lot, it's really difficult to make a mistake while you're building. If somebody comes in with the wrong piece, it just won't fit. All right, now the next thing to do is you're going to install the windows and doors. Now, all the Bunkie Life windows are custom made here in Canada for the kit itself. So you can see how once you have your kit built up to the point where it needs a window, they kind of just slide right in. Just be really careful not to pound it too hard. Just kind of like a nice hand snugness should go. And it's actually made to float in the wall there. So you don't need to screw it. And the windows more or less come that assembled from the factory. All of the windows on our bunkie kits are double paned windows as well, which really helps with the winter. And then once you've got your window, and the door slides in the same way. Once you've got your windows in, the next step is if you put your roof beams in, and you're going to put your roof boards down. These all come with the kit as well, and you can see how we do this. And then the floor is very similar in the sense it's just tongue and grooved.
You're going to put it down, and then you're going to screw or nail it down to the beams, or the floor joist, I should say. And that's kind of the floor system. And then, of course, you got to put some type of roof on. As you guys know, I have a motto, and it's do it once, do it right. And so this is a metal roof, which we always try to recommend. And this is kind of, an example of a video of me doing a roof. So I've insulated this particular roof, and then I put a metal roof on top, and then I think I screwed a cap on. There's whole videos on how to do metal roofs, but that's kind of the finish we recommend. You can also do shingles. You can also do cedar shakes. You could also do thatch roofs. There's lots of options, but I always recommend a nice, solid metal roof made in Canada. And then the final touch is stain. So we recommend a company called Sanson. They are a Canadian log home stain. And everyone that's used them have been pretty impressed. I don't get paid to shill them. I just think they're a good product. And so here's a bunkie I kind of was renovating and used a nice air sprayer. So I got a nice white inside, which turned out really nice. And then I used that kind of copper, or I guess gray color on the outside. And then here's Michael from Sanson that came to my house to help me with another bunkie that I was redoing. I put the crappy stuff on first, which I wouldn't recommend. I had to sand it all off, and then I put the good stuff on. And this bunkie in particular still looks amazing like 3-4 years later. So highly recommend Sanson, but there's lots of good stains out there too. And that's kind of the complete picture. Of course, there's decoration and other finishing touches, but in terms of the actual build, that's what you need to do. Bang the logs together, slide in the windows, put the roof on, put a coat of stain on it, and you're good to go. So that is pretty much what I wanted to get to in terms of my presentation. I'm going to open up the floor to questions. I've already noticed on the comments there's tons of questions coming in, so I'm here for you. Let me help you. If you have specific questions about Bunkie Life Bunkies, let's fire it away. So I'm just seeing here. So Mark asks, Grand Bend area, and we mostly are on sand. Yes, I grew up in that area. Really nice. So we're mostly on sand below soil level with good drainage. Could we use a gravel base? I would probably think so. Yeah, sand will take the gravel really well. Get scoop up the topsoil with your shovel. Put some gravel down, 4 inches, 2 to 4 inches, and you only have to put it underneath your actual blocks. You don't need to do the whole thing. So put a bunch of bags of gravel down underneath your blocks, and then it'll drain really nicely, and you're good to go. Build up from there. That would be my recommendation. Siobhan asks, do you install? And if so, does that include the foundation? So Bunkie Life generally will recommend contractors in your area that other people have vetted, other clients have used, and you can negotiate with them. 99 times out of 100, people want everything done for them, so the installers would do the foundation, usually using blocks and wood. So you can negotiate that. Bunkie Life as a company, if you need us to manage the project, we do charge quite a pretty penny for it because we don't have a huge team. So if you want us to manage the project, we can do that for a fee. But 99 times out of 100, like I'd say 80% of clients will build it themselves with friends and family or local people they know. And then about 20% will take a recommendation from us or hire their own contractor to build. Most clients find they can build a typical loft bunkie like the one we're giving away on next Sunday. They can build that in about 2 days. All right. Great question, Siobhan. Linda says, you said you were from Petrolia, so when you deliver the winning bunkie to me in Sarnia, you can visit your family. Okay, that's very kind, Linda. I like that, the positive energy there. What are the options for insulation? We'll probably talk, so I'll do a whole presentation when we talk about, we're going to talk about kind of the bigger picture. So what did I call that presentation? I'm just going to find that. Overlays. Okay, so when we talk about, I think it's next week, which is completing the bunkie picture. I'll talk about insulation, heating sources, and things like that. But yeah, insulation is really easy to do. Lots of clients have done it, and it kind of extends your bunkie season by quite a bit. I think you meant insulation there. Okay. Thanks, Sue. Ida says, I'd go for gravel, patio stones, and wood. Easier and quicker. Yes, that's generally the right fit for most people. Deneen Jones asks, can you get skylights? Yes, clients have successfully used skylights, like actual skylights. I've also seen some really successful kind of RV roof bubble things installed in bunkies, and they're pretty cool. Michelle asks, curious, are the boards numbered? On our newer stuff, yes. Some of the older kits, no, but you can kind of tell because there's only so many boards that are a certain length. So if you organize them by length, it's pretty obvious which boards are which. And every kit comes with instructions, a really good set of instructions, and also videos of how to install. Megan asks, are payment plans available for bunkies? Great question. Yes, we've partnered with a third-party program company. They're called PayBright, so they can help you finance a bunkie if you want to go that route. So Francis asks, what size is the one in this demo video? So that bunkie was an older bunkie we used to sell called the 2018 bunkie. We're kind of revamping that model for this coming year. So that one was like 9x9. It was kind of too small in a lot of situations. The 2020 bunkie, which is our biggest and best bunkie, is as big as you can go without needing a permit in most places. And it's a little bit bigger, but similar kind of feel. So Sandy said, this is fantastic. Good weekend project. Yes, for sure. Are the bunkies air tight? No, I mean, they're still like, it's still a bunkie. However, like, can you feel the wind outside? No, absolutely not. Like they're quite, I wouldn't say quite airtight, but they're pretty close to airtight. If you caulk all your corners, which we recommend as well, you can get bunkies pretty close to airtight. You definitely don't feel the wind, and they're quite cozy inside. So he says, anything made in Canada gets my attention. Cool. Very cool. Okay, this is a great question. Nicole says, should we paint the boards first before putting it together? So you can, now, first of all, wood requires stain, not paint. So that's the one thing I've learned through this process. You put stain on wood. Now you can have colored stain. You can have stain that's very transparent, so you still see the wood grains. Or you can have stain that's very opaque, so that you just see the color. And so it's very much similar to paint. But the stain itself, some people will put it on before they build their bunkie. I've always been a fan of putting it on after, because you're going to be banging these boards around. They won't fit as well if they're already stained. But if you sand it after you build it and stain it really well, it'll kind of seal everything together, and then you won't have any issues like that. So we always recommend stain after the fact. Okay, Susan asks, what can I expect to pay for a metal roof of this size? So steel has really been one of those supply chain things that the price has been going crazy and all up and down. Like my bunkies, I paid about $500 or $600 for a good metal roof. Your results may vary. You can call around. There are different deals, and we have some suggestions. There's some Mennonite guys we use in different areas of Ontario that are considerably cheaper than buying it from Home Depot. So it's worth shopping the metal roofs around. And it's a good idea to order it really early. If you're ordering for, say, spring, order it in January. Why not just get it there, get it paid for, and avoid the price going up. Kevin asked, does the kit include shingles? No. So we've left the roof finish, the shingles or the metal or the whatever, up to you. So we have a spec sheet to help you order these materials, like all the measurements. But there's so many options and so many choices of color, etc., that we leave that up to you. And so shingles as a ballpark cost about $250 for the average bunkie, and metal, like I said, more like $500-$600, maybe even more, depending on what you order. And that's 2021 pricing. So where do you get a metal roof? You can order at Timber Mart, lots of different local hardware stores. Everyone has a dealership with a metal company, or you can order them from different kind of metal roofing shops. We have some suggestions once you become a client. Michelle says, want to insulate the floor. Would that go underneath? Yes. There's lots of videos we have for clients about how to insulate the floor. We should put in second floor. Should we put in second floor and put insulation between? I don't understand the second part of that question, Michelle, but you could definitely insulate underneath the floorboards, there's lots of space to do that with just your traditional foam, or you can spray foam, or you can use even the pink stuff. So, yeah, great question. How many gallons of stain for in and out are needed? So it depends on the bunkie. Some are bigger than others, but for the 2019 Bunkie with Loft, I think it's like 2 gallons per coat, or 1 gallon per coat of the exterior and 1 gallon for the interior. So 1 gallon per interior and exterior. So if you want to do 2 or 3 coats, you can do the math from there. And so one thing I should probably mention too. So when you become a Bunkie Life client, you get instant access to all the instructions for your bunkie, but there's also a private Facebook group that we've established that has 600 people in it now. And so it's a great place to go on and go, hey guys, I'm building the summer cabin. What did you use for stain? There'll be like 5-6 people that have done exactly what you're trying to do, and they can share from their experience as well. And they're people are really quick to get back to you there. Oh, Michelle asks, do folks put sides around the base to stop critters living underneath or leave it open? Usually I recommend leaving it open so you can get airflow. If you can build the bunkie, a little bit off the ground so you can still see underneath there and poke something should it be living underneath your bunkie, I think that's the best sacrifice or compromise, we'll say. Christine Graff asked, how do you heat them for the winter camper? So at my place, I've got 5-6 bunkies now. I've chosen, because it's close enough to my house, I've just ran electrical cords out there, and they're running little heaters. So the bunkies where I've insulated the roof, they're very usable where I live, which is Erin, Ontario, like kind of outside Toronto. Very usable all year round, especially if you insulate the floor and the roof. If you're further north, your results may vary. But we do have clients that actually live in their bunkies full time. If you type in, can I live in my bunkie into YouTube, there's a couple of good videos with myself and my daughter visiting some clients that have done that. And they've gone this, the extra step. They've ordered a wood stove, a small wood stove for their bunkies, and they've really thought it through. So if you're planning on getting through a winter with the bunkie, it's not for the faint of heart. These are really designed for 3.5 seasons at best. But is it doable? It absolutely is. All right. Does a bunkie require a permit? So that would be a question for your local mafia. So according to the Ontario Building Code, all of our bunkies are just under that 10 square meters that requires a permit according to Ontario Building Code. But we have had local building inspectors say, oh, you need a permit here, or no, you don't. Everyone has their own little fiefdom. So a good suggestion would be if you're going to go the, ask for permission route, then, make an anonymous call and say, what do I need to do? If you need engineered drawings, we have those for all of our kits as well. So if you want to apply and you need an engineered drawing, that's not a problem. And if you want to go the permit route, it's totally an option. Some people they live in the middle of nowhere. No one's ever going to see their bunkie, and they just kind of do the beg for forgiveness strategy. I don't recommend that strategy, but it has been done. And so far, no one has had their bunkie torn down that I've heard of. So that's good. Charmaine says, is it possible to add insulation to the bunkie? Type in bunkie insulation. There's some good videos about that. And yes, it is. How tight are the corners of the bunkie? Pretty tight. You can't feel the wind at all, like I said earlier. We always recommend caulking and sealing the edges. Especially if you're open and you don't have any tree cover, then it's a good idea to caulk that. Sandra, will you be talking about solar power? Yes, I think I'll talk about that when we talk about completing the bunkie picture. We partner with some solar companies that can help with that and utilize solar power if you're in an off-grid kind of scenario. Mike says, is now a good time to build? Actually, yeah. Like if you can squeeze it in before the ground really fully freezes, it's actually a really good time to build because you don't have bugs to fight. It's not you're never going to get too hot. You can throw a bunch of coats on and you can be pretty comfortable because you're moving around. It's actually a great time to build up until, the snow really gets intense. So if we still have a few bunkies left. We're pretty getting close to sold out, but we still have a few left. So if you want to order a bunkie for this year, it's totally doable. And we have the 2019 bunkie in stock in Ontario. So we could, if you win the bunkie contest, ideally, or if you want to buy one, we could get to you right away. The only thing is it sucks digging in the snow. So if you can get the foundation down as quickly as you can before it gets really bad, then it's actually not too bad to build the actual bunkie, even if it is kind of snowing a bit. David says, just joining late. Will the complete video be available on your YouTube channel? Totally, David. If you miss anything, it'll be there.
Mark says, do the windows open and have screens? Yes, yes, and yes. Some of our kits, the screens are pre-installed. Other kits, it's very simple and trivial to install them. You can, if you type in Bunkie screens, there's a video of me installing a screen into YouTube there. And our newer kits are all going to be kind of screens pre-installed. We had two people asking about steel, and so we answered the steel roof thing earlier. Advice on solar power for the Bunkie. We'll talk about that in a week or so. Oh, about how much metal for a roof this size. So actually, each kit will come with its own spec sheet that you can just print out and give to your metal supplier. It's the best way to order. Can you install wood burning stoves? Yes, clients have definitely done that. We recommend the Quebec-based company Cubic Mini Wood Stoves, and we actually have a deal where you can get a discount if you order through them. Dave Wilkinson says, "Hey Andy, stop trying to win my Bunkie." That's awesome. People are chirping each other on my live stream. Awesome. If we wanted something as a tiny home insulated for winter as well, is it able to be done? Yes, but like I said earlier, not for the faint of heart. It's this is really rustic living, and there's people that do it, absolutely, but it's not for the faint of heart. So check out the video about can I live in my Bunkie on YouTube. There's actually two. There's the summer version and there's a winter version. We visited Dan twice just to give people an idea what they're up against. Is there a sealer to put in the corners? Yes. Yeah, we just use silicone generally, like your classic bead of silicone. That works pretty well. Okay, somebody's spamming with gross stuff. Hopefully that gets deleted. So it depends on where you live. You need to find out with your local community. Absolutely. I think Margot's referring to permits. Make sure if you're the type of person that really wants to follow the rules, make sure you cross all your T's and dot all your I's with your local person. So, okay. How do you build a Bunkie on a slope? I know about this. Okay, so my 2020 Bunkie at my house, my whole house is on a crazy hill. So we have a foundation plan for each Bunkie. So you'll know exactly what square or rectangle you got to build. To build it on a slope, it gets dicey. So usually sonotubes work really well. You can drill into the ground and then extend them up in the air on the low side, and then you can tuck them more into on the high side. You can do it with blocks. It's just you got to build up the blocks a little bit so it gets dicey, or dig the high side down with shovels. So slopes suck. It's so much easier to build a Bunkie on a flat area if you can, but it's totally doable. Lots of people do it, and there are people that build decks professionally. If you want to build a Bunkie yourself, but you don't want the pain in the butt of building on a slope, hire a deck company to come in, build your foundation for you, and build up from there. That's actually what I did at my house. Okay. If you get stuck during the build, is there a help number to call? Yes, there is. We have a couple builders kind of ready to go, like guys that build Bunkies for us, guys and girls that build Bunkies for us all year. They're ready to go. They're always a phone call away, even on Sunday, when sometimes people run into problems on Sundays. But definitely Saturdays, we're always available. Like usually we try to get a human on the phone every time you call us. Do the posts for loft support add to the square footage for building requirements? My understanding is yes. So you'll notice on my Bunkie, there's photos of different people's Bunkies. Some people don't put those support posts on. Some people kind of take them and they kind of diagonal back into the structure so they're not touching the ground directly. That's what I did at my house, and I've had it there for like 4 or 5 years, and it's fine. But when I had someone call the local air and building inspector on me 2 years ago, and he came and saw it all. He's like, "Yeah, you're good to go. You don't need a permit." But he did. I remember him commenting, "If I had to put the post straight down, I would have enlarged the footprint and therefore would have needed a permit." So, obviously check with your local mafia, but that's kind of my understanding of where I am. So, yeah. Terry says, to insulate and critter-proof the foundation, recommend double bubble aluminum foil on the beams. Yeah, that would work. Yep. That's that kind of aluminum stuff. And then rigid between the floor sleepers. Yep, that would work really well. I think, yeah. All right. Megan asks, is it possible to connect multiple Bunkies? Yes, technically, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. And once you connect them, you've got a situation where you've got, a 200 square foot structure or whatever, and now you're definitely into permit land, according to my understanding of the Ontario Building Code. Melissa says, thank you. So you could put a wood stove in. Yes, people have done that. Okay. getting these comments. George says, what an amazing opportunity. Thank you, David. That's very kind. Have you installed lighting inside the Bunkies? Yeah, a lot of clients have installed, either like battery-powered lighting or actually run proper electrical and done lighting. You can see lots of, if you scroll back in time on the Facebook page on Bunkie Life, you can see different clients' experience and different things they've got done with lighting, and people even put ceiling fans in there and stuff. So, is it too late in the year to build? No, I wouldn't say so. If you can squeak it in before it gets too cold, it's definitely doable still. We're getting close to sold out on most of our models, but we have a few left. And can the kit be stored until spring? Yes. Usually we recommend we hold on to the kit for people, and then we can, deliver it to you whenever you're ready in the spring, or you can take delivery now and put it in the garage or whatever. Up to you. Dorothy says, thanks for the information. Looking forward to putting ours up. Awesome. Okay. What is the delivery time after ordering a bunkie? Linda Panchuk asks. Great question, Linda. So that really depends on the season. Right now, we're taking mostly our orders for spring. I always tell everybody with the unpredictability of everything, it's a really good idea to get any orders for spring in prior to, at the very latest, Valentine's Day. So anybody that ordered after Valentine's Day last year, we had to kind of bump them to, late spring, summer, right? Just because of the nature of our business, we have to kind of get as much as we can ready for spring. And then everybody, in May goes, oh, I want a bunkie now. And that can be tricky to manage. So the smart people order now, almost the smart people order before Valentine's Day. And then all the people that haven't really thought ahead are thinking about this in April, May. And at that point, it can get really dicey and you might be having to wait a bit. Sometimes we'll have inventory right away. If we've planned right, we have inventory right away. We can just deliver it right away. Other times, this past summer, there's people that had to wait like 6 weeks in some cases. Nothing like some of the things, like I've heard of people that are waiting like 7 months for their couch, or like they can't get a washer or dryer until like 2024. So it's nothing like that. Because we make everything here in Ontario ourselves, we don't have that craziness, but just demand is so high right now. So, just as a heads up, the sooner you can order, the better. And then also we lock in prices. So if you order before the end of this year, you've locked in your price, which is very handy when the price of lumber does what it does. Mostly does this. Okay. What does it cost for you to install? It depends on the kit, but for a good kind of recommended contractor, if you ballpark like $4,500, that includes a metal roof, that includes the foundation, that includes everything. Then that's a good ballpark. If me, David Fraser, is managing your project, it's going to be like $5,500 or $6,000. We try to make sure, unless there's any other way to do it, we try to not manage too many projects throughout the year. Would metal roofing be noisy when it rains and also attract lightning? No, it won't attract lightning, but some people like the sound of the metal roof. Some people don't. It's not that much noisier, in my experience, than shingles, especially if you insulate under that metal roof. How do you put, Todd Oliver asks, how do you put electrical boxes in? So what I've done at my place is I've run basically cords out to the bunkie, and then they go straight into a surface mount electrical box, like a proper exterior electrical box. And then that way you can plug in there. I don't have switches. I just have lamps for lighting. So there's no switches needed. Just basically a couple outlets. Good to go. Also, one of my kits has a solar panel set up in it too. Charmaine asks, are the windows all the same size, or is there an option of bigger windows? Most of the time, the windows for each kit are custom to that kit, or made for that kit. So we can make custom windows. It just, this year we decided to stop doing that. And next year, I don't know if we'll continue to do it either, because it's just a lot of extra kind of thinking. So if you want to do custom windows, you can add your own windows after the fact. But in general, the kit kind of comes as is. We've thought it through. We really have thought it through, guys. We've had tons and tons and tons of customer feedback over the years to make sure that it's a good working kit. And so if you can kind of make what you've got work, great. Now, adding a window, that's a different story. If you want to add a window, that's no problem. We can just make another window, throw it in the kit with you, or put it aside for you. So adding a window is very simple. But enlarging windows means we have to kind of rethink the whole experience at the factory. So we have to charge appropriately. So it can sometimes double the cost of the whole kit. But adding a window is just, whatever it costs us to make a window, which is usually like $300 at most. So yeah. Deneen says code word soon. Okay, so code word is not soon, but good guess. Mark Krenna says, building the bunkie on deck blocks, use pressure-treated wood for the bunkie foundation. Yes, we recommend you use pressure-treated wood. And the kit itself also comes with floor sleepers that are pressure-treated as well. But they have to build on top of something. All right. Can I install electricity in the bunkie? Yes. Will the bunkie meet building codes? Yes. All of our bunkies have been... And so you don't need to have a permit in lots of spaces, but we've still taken each kit through the process of an engineer looking at it, making sure it complies with building codes. And if you need it, we can get you an engineered stamp for your local mafia. Have you ever heard of anyone using repurposed metal for the roof? Yeah, it's possible. Is there a CAD or a PDF for pre-ordering a metal roof? Yes, we have a PDF for each person of how to order the roof. It's kind of just the simple measurements you can take to your local metal supplier. Has anyone put proper stairs in? Yes, absolutely. Ladder is no good for my puppers. Yes, people have put in stairs. Yeah. You kind of got to do a little landing and then up in most cases, but it totally works. Darren says, hate working in the snow. Rather be in Mexico. Totally. How do you install electrical and have it flush/hidden when it's not? So it's difficult to do that. It is possible. You have to really think your way through. You kind of got to pre-drill the holes as you build. But like I said, it's easier just to kind of run the bunkie outlets, like run the cord right into it from the outside, and then you're good to go. And you won't see the electrical at all. Are any 2018 bunkies left for Ontario? Not right now. And I'm not sure if we'll have any next year. But we have 2019s and we have 2020s, and they're very similar, and I think a lot better, to be honest. We just didn't sell enough of the 2018s to make it really make sense. What does the bunkie look like when it's delivered? That's a great question. It looks basically like a big pallet of wood, kind of like a big flat packed thing, and you're going to pull. I think I might have showed a picture of that earlier in the video, but basically it's a big, wrapped, long, 16 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet package, like a typical Amazon delivery. Hey, David Wilkinson, I told you about this. I've entered since the start. You leave. All right, the battle continues between Andy and Dave. Am I in a bunkie right now? No, I'm not actually. I should be though. What kind of supply do you have ready to go for delivery? Is there a wait time for order? So that depends on like I said, depends on the season. Right now we have a few extra bunkies left over, but that will not be true in the spring most likely. Usually there's a wait time that gets bigger and bigger throughout the spring and summer. What was the company for the mini wood stove? CubicMiniWoodStoves.com. And if you use the code Bunkie5, you'll get a discount. Do you have anything bigger available in kits? Yes, we have a 12 by 12 bunkie with loft and a 15 by 15 bunkie with loft. Email us for details on that. Yeah, oh, thank you, Francis. This is the CubicMiniWoodStoves.com. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Do bunkies meet requirements in Quebec? That is no building permit. My understanding, Michael, is that everything in Quebec, from a dollhouse to a mansion, needs a permit. Now, I'm not from Quebec. I don't know it as well as I know Ontario and BC and such. But that's my understanding of Quebec. So like I said, we have all the engineered drawings if you need them. But my understanding is everything needs a permit in Quebec, unless you're going to do the, don't ask, don't tell thing. One of the greatest things about bunkies, they look so great that the neighbors are impressed and not likely to try and cause trouble. We checked our local regs, but also told the neighbors they could have a sleepover whenever they wanted. That is a good strategy, Mary Margaret Boone. That's what I did at my house too. A little bit of neighborly support goes a long way, because ultimately, like 99.99% of problems with your town are neighbor complaint driven. So if your neighbors are on your side, you're going to have no issues at all. So that would be, a really good. Yeah, good. Lori Condi, how's it going, Lori? So Lori's a client as well. Also, for footprint area, if the deck is attached to a bunkie, then it is included in the same square footage. Yes. So think about that too. If you see a lot of sexy bunkies with sexy decks built in front of them, if that's the case, you might be stepping into permit land with your local township. At my place, I've got like a bunkie, and then I've got a deck built right in front of it, but not actually connected. That's my workaround. My building inspector bought that workaround. He didn't care, but like I say, Make sure you're cool with your neighbors and cool with your local building mafia. Does the kit come with the floor? Yes, it does. Do you offer to extend the loft completely and make it a full second? No, we don't. At this point, we have not implemented that design. It just is a lot of complication to do that right now. So, yeah. Where do you source your wood from? Mostly Ontario. So we use premium grade spruce. But every once in a while we'll buy wood from Quebec, or we actually bought from Alberta last year, just wherever you can get wood when it gets crazy. Last year was the craziest year for wood ever. So primarily like we just get local wood, like the best premium or shade grade wood we can get locally. But in the case we can't, we'll finagle and we'll make deals with the Quebecers as well. And some of our older kits were made in Estonia, so they were actually like European wood. But all their stuff now is made in Ontario moving forwards. Is there a hatch to open into the crawl space? That's a good question. Go to our website and do the 3D tours, and you can see kind of how the loft works. Or there's actually walkthrough videos of me walking through a bunkie. So that'll explain that. Linda, are you related to Carrie Fraser? Are you talking about the referee? My dad, Dale Fraser, curses his name quite frequently as a Leafs fan. No relation. Would you recommend people near me to build the bunkie? Yeah, I would say, if you have a local handyman, you don't need a really super skilled person to build this bunkie. We've had grandmothers build this bunkie. We've had, a grandfather and his grandson build it together. We have teenagers build these bunkies. So doesn't require like a super skilled person to do it. And generally, the person that you know and trust locally is going to be probably your best bet because they don't have to travel to you and such. So yeah, if you can get someone local, that's the way to go. Are we looking for installers? Yes, we're always looking for professional, do what they say they're going to do, show up when they say they're going to show up, and do a good job right to the end. We're looking for those kind of people out all the time. So we can throw a lot of work your way. We don't take any commissions. We just connect great people to great installers and say, have at her and make it work. Are the windows double pane? Yes, they are. All of our kits are double pane except for our summer cabin, which is kind of our entry level, just for the summer. The rest of them are all double pane windows. How much I deliver to Nova Scotia? My internet just came back up. I think, Barbara, you're asking how much to deliver to Nova Scotia. I think the last time we went there, it was about $1,200 to get to like a major center like a Halifax, and then the client picked up from there. And that's usually the best way to do it if you're going really far. Oh, Natasha asks, why can't my Quebec family members play the contest? Sorry about that, Natasha. It's just there's some legal reasons we can't do that. I'm not a francophone, unfortunately, and I don't want to violate Quebec's French language laws, primarily. That's the main reason. Linda says, the one who is an NHL referee. No relation. Do we have to purchase the foundation wood? Yes. We have it's not too much money to do that. It's like usually 4 or 5 pieces, and we have a foundation plan for you to do that. It's usually cheapest just to order it locally. Could the package be moved by people, or would machines be necessary? So we deliver our bunkies using a big forklift. So we try to get as close to your build site as we can. And then if anyone needs to move it, they find it's usually better to just kind of take it apart and hand bomb pieces. Like say you need to put it onto a dock and then put it on a boat and get it to an island. That might be an example. I'm not sure why you're asking, but yeah, you would need, like these weigh 4,000 pounds in some cases. So it's a heavy piece of equipment or a piece of, wood, pieces of wood. So it's not possible to move it unless you had 30 Amish people and you could all lift. If you don't have that kind of manpower, then I would say, consider a machinery or just hand bombing. Each piece is very liftable. Can you add plumbing? Yes, you can. Some clients have done that. But my understanding is as soon as you add plumbing to a structure, you've ventured into permit land. So just be aware of that. And Angela says, Andy and Dave, stop bickering because it's mine. Oh, and Angela's joined the fray. What a battle. What is the weight of the package? It depends on the kit, but between 2,500 and 4,000 pounds for our standard kits. What type of kit is the wood? Or what type of wood? Premium grade spruce. Darren says, always tell your neighbors what you're doing. Yes, highly recommend. Darren says height restrictions. Yeah, some areas will have height restrictions, so make sure you check that. I have a friend who lives in Muskoka. How do I convince them to put up a bunkie? My suggestion would be pay for their bunkie. Okay. Do you usually use 2x4s for floor joists? Yes, those are included in the kit. And then the lower, like if you want to build your own foundation with wood, then usually recommend 4x4s or 6x6 kind of squares. What's the average start time build time start to finish? So I would say the average is probably 2 to 3 days for the loft kits, maybe more like 2 days for the non-lofted kits. I built my 2020 bunkie with loft in about a day and a half, but it was me and 2 guys that built a lot. So the more hands, the easier, obviously, and the more level your surface. So I always tell everybody, if you can have your foundation ready when your kit shows up and you have your roof ready to go, most people can find they can build a bunkie in a long weekend with enough help. But some people split it up and they'll only do a few hours a day, which really drags it out. So they might take a week or two. Or like if they're doing it over drive up to the cottage, but you're only there for 4 or 5 hours, and then drive home, it might take a couple weeks. So it kind of depends on what level of manpower and time you can commit to the project. What is a cottage bunkie? That would be a bunkie that you have at a cottage. How far do we deliver? We deliver all over Canada. Oh, okay. Britt asks, he says, so Britt, your question earlier was about, can I move the package? You say no driveway. So we have an all-terrain forklift. We'll get as far as we can with that, and then it's kind of up to you from there. But like I said, it's really easy to you can put it down, double tarp it until you're ready to go, and then you can untarp it and take the packaging apart and then move each piece individually. It's if you have a lot of hands, it's not the end of the world. It's doable. Oh, Stryker says, great job on House and Home Mag. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we were featured in that this summer, which is very cool. What do I need for a foundation near a pond? I'd probably recommend sonotubes once again. I think that you get them below the frost line, make sure that they're, because I think if you have a pond, you might have drainage issues, you might have water there sometimes. So, yeah. Oh, Becca said, your biggest bunkie is fabricated in Quebec. Does it require? So we 2 years ago, we made some of our bunkies in Quebec, but we've actually switched everything. We bought our own factory and have our own operation here in Ontario now. So we're 100% made in Ontario now. But like I said earlier, I think everything in Quebec needs a permit. I would love to win, but I'm more interested in a deal, like buy 5, get 1 free. Give me a call. We can chat, Francis. Sorry to tell you all, but the bunkie will be coming to Newfoundland for my cabin. Awesome, Tracy. That would be so cool if someone from Newfoundland won. Does the kit come with all supplies and nails? Yes, the kit comes with all the hardware, all the nails, all that good stuff. Everything basically except the foundation, the stain, and then the finish on the roof is included. I just wanted to tell you how much I love your bunkies. Thank you, Tracy. That's very kind. Do you guarantee no missing parts upon delivery? Yes. I mean, of the 700 roughly bunkies that went out this year, there wasn't too many missing parts. If there are, we will get it to you ASAP. One person, the package came off, they lost some screws, so they just bought their own screws and we paid them back. Like, it's pretty rare that happens because we have to really meticulously count our pieces. And then the first thing you do when you open the package is you meticulously count your pieces. So if there are any issues, you can call us right away and we can get it fixed. Or rather, how does one put a foundation over swampy land? I think sonotubes, but you might actually need to consult an expert. If we're talking about a real swamp, you probably need a swamp foundation building expert, and I'm not that. So, yeah. How much is shipping to Alberta? So we can usually get to a major center like a Calgary or an Edmonton or a Red Deer using we can get there. I don't want to just ballpark like $1,200, and then it'd be your responsibility to either pick it up there or arrange delivery. We could arrange delivery the last little bit, but usually the last mile is the most expensive mile. So if you can have a buddy with a truck and a trailer, picking it up from a local big center is usually the best way. But email in, we can give you an exact quote if you wanted to go that road, Amanda. Do you know if you have to get a permit in Ontario if you put electricity into it? I don't actually know the answer to that because I don't actually know the answer to that. I'm not an electrician. I would recommend talking to an electrician about that specific question. Jen says, great job answering these questions. You know your stuff. Thanks. That's kind. I've just learned a lot of things through bitter experience building these myself a lot. Would your structure be strong enough to install furniture such as bunk beds on the walls? Totally. Murphy beds those walls are very solid. Not these walls, but the bunkie walls. And they can take like a Murphy bed or like hang shelving on it. They're very, very solid. Did you have to increase your prices here due to lumber? Yes, we did. And have those costs come down? No, they have not. The price of lumber went down a little bit, but I think these prices may be here to stay, guys. So, and now because the price has so much fluctuation, we need to think about that and make sure we're not exposing ourselves to a situation. Because like when we tell everybody a price, we don't change the price, even though the cost of lumber went up on us, right? So we need to price in so that if we sell you a bunkie, when it all goes through months later, that it still makes sense for everyone and everyone's winning. So that's why the prices are kind of where they are. What's the beer limitation for building a standard bunkie? I'd say 5 per person per day is a good limitation. Drink responsibly. Join late. Good evening, David. Are you able to provide the overall height of the contest bunkie? Yes, it's on the website under 2019 bunkie with loft. I don't think offhand, but it's around like 12.5 feet, just off the top of my head. Oh, Andrew says 2020 bunkie is a great place to host a bachelorette party on Lake Huron. Cool. That's awesome. I'm glad it's doing you good. Are building permits required in Alberta? I actually don't know the exact answer to that. I would assume it's similar to Ontario, but I haven't done the homework. So ultimately, the permit or not permit is up to you as the client to make sure you got your ducks in a row. But I'm sure someone might have an answer. All of our bunkies are designed to be 10 square meters or less of a footprint. And in most places, that doesn't require a permit. All right, Kelly says, love the honesty about the pricing. Yeah. Oh man, pricing. I honestly got like people, so like last year especially, people were yelling at me like, last year the bunkie was blah, blah, blah. Now it's this. I'm like, well, that's like say 30 or 40% more. You realize like the lumber cost actually tripled, right? Like, so we made less money charging more money. It's not like this doesn't go to like my Scrooge McDuck, place of gold that I swim through. It goes basically to pay for the lumber that builds these things. So, yeah. Okay. Janine says, it's been 60 minutes. Yes. Okay. We got to wrap things up. So, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your amazing questions. I got to the bottom of them. And so, tonight, we're going to add a button to the contest scoreboard. It's going to be, say, watch Bunkie Live stream number 2. And the code word is ladders. That code word is ladders. So go to the Bunkie Live contest score page and type in the word ladders, and you'll get another extra 100 points towards, or extra chances to win for this contest. If you have a friend that would be benefiting from a bunkie, make sure you tell them about this contest. And we have a few more live streams coming up, guys and girls. Let me explain once again. So tonight we did Bunkie Building 101. On Sunday at the same time, 7 o'clock p.m., I'll do how to make cash with your bunkies for everybody that's interested in Airbnbs. And then on Tuesday, we'll do completing the bunkie picture. We'll talk about solar, wood stoves, etc., etc. And then Thursday is the most important one, in my opinion, how and why Bunkie Life helps the world. I'll tell our family story a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to announce the winner on the 14th. So thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a slice, and we'll see you again on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for participating in this contest, and we'll